There's so many of us are starting over again after 50 that retirement has just changed and looks different. But I like the point you made, is that today, do I have what I need today?
Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning in again to Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Hi,
Hi,
Silka.
Paige.
We're back.
I know, we're back again, and today we're talking about a topic that you really wanted to cover, and I was kind of didn't want to cover, and I'll tell you why. You said, one of the things we really need to bring to our viewers is the importance of financial health in your second act. I kind of have always felt that there's so many people already out there talking about it. That's really not what we bring in terms of the quality of life. But you made a really, really good point. And that is, if we don't think about that, we can make some huge mistakes that, prevent us from enjoying our second act.
Yeah. And fear's a big part. Fear's a big part of, oh my gosh, where am I supposed to be financially versus, where am I financially? And that also goes into, trusting that, have you always had what you've needed each day in your life? Because you can ask yourself, what do I have today? Do I have everything that I need in this moment today? Most people will say yes. So if you take it daily, just so it subsides the fear, that's helpful. But you really do need to pay attention to, okay, so if I'm in my 50s, 60s, eventually, if I want to retire, where do I want to retire? How do I want it to look? What money do I have now? What type of a life do I want to have physically and emotionally? And then, what if you have a life partner who gets sick and you don't have the funds for it? I've gone through that, wiped us out completely. And I wasn't even in, second act of
mode.
life. But it affects the second act of life, right, because of medical issues. And as we get older, there's a chance of having more medical issues.
Well, and so much, we had a reinvention coach, John Tarnoff, was on, to where there's a whole group of experts out there that address reinventing your career after 50, the necessity to keep working. There's so many of us are starting over again after 50 that retirement has just changed and looks different. But I like the point you made, is that today, do I have what I need today?
Do I have what I need today? Yeah. And most people say, you know what? I do have what I need today. I might not know if I have what I need tomorrow, but guess what? Tomorrow hasn't come yet. All you have is the moment and the day. So start to look at it like that, while at the same time discussing and meeting with someone who can help you with financial goals, who can help you with, what do you want out of your life down the road? And also, you've gone through this. We're also at that age group where we're taking care of our parents. And that's a whole other stressor on top of it. And sometimes our parents don't have the financial needs. And what happens? We take care of their financial needs. So it's a very complex area when you get to your 50s and over. There's some great things about it, but there's a lot of responsibilities that come with it, and a lot of things that people get fearful about that we're here to say, you don't have to have the fear. I think our purpose today, Silka, was to open up the door for our viewers and let them know it's not as scary as you think, that when we have one of our financial experts come on, who happens to be my financial planner, why I like him, and pay attention to this when you're looking for your own financial planner, is that he doesn't just care about the money aspect. He cares about the people that he's helping. So much so that when my husband and I, when he went through his illness for all those years and the money was going down, he knew how challenging it was for us. So he was there from an emotional aspect as well. And I think it's really important because emotions go with money. How you look at money, how you feel about money, how your fear or anxiety is about money. So if you have a financial planner that has a characteristic of both, that helps people step into an area that they feel a little unnerved and frightened about.
Yeah. Well, and to be perfectly honest, it's something, I have an MBA, but finance was never something that I was particularly interested in. I'm still not. I don't know why. I sit down and I go through the numbers and it makes me nervous. I get a headache, And I too have somebody that I believe really cares at this point. He's the most transparent that I've ever had. And I never realized the all the fees that are involved in certain funds, and I just feel stupid that I didn't realize what some of the
Oh my
stuff that I
gosh,
was paying.
don't do that, because you know what? I'm the same way. And think about it. We have so many other areas that we have specialties in our life, and so many other areas that pull us. We can't know about every area of our life, and especially about the financial areas. I mean, basics, yes, but when we get into the harder thing, like you talked about the fees, it makes my mind spin too, and I think, oh my gosh, what is this? How do I do this? So, but it's important to at least have somewhat of a knowing of where you're going and where you'd like to be and where you are now. We also want to talk about end of life planning. So, what do you do for your own health, not alone just for your significant other?
Yeah, talk about something nobody wants to talk about.
Exactly. So, here we are talking about, think about it. And that's very true. People don't want to hear the older that we get, but you know what? If you start to address it and look at it now, it will make you feel so much better that if something does happen, you have something in place for yourself. And that's a heck of a lot better than waiting to the last minute, something happens, and the fear is skyrocketed through the roof, or you can't even articulate what you want. That's why having these conversations now with somebody who you trust, who you know isn't just about the money piece of it, but like taking care of your physical needs, your emotional needs, of what could happen down the road.
And we hear this a lot. We hear this in commercials. We hear it on the radio. We hear it, and yet we don't take action. And that's why I think we're having this conversation. Why you want to have this conversation, because at some point somebody says something, and you will take action. And maybe it's this conversation today. I fully admit that I was fearful of that. I was pulled through it with my parents. I'm really proud, really, of my mother, the way she was proactive, and she was never anybody who worked. She was a housewife all her life. My father got Alzheimer's towards the end, and she was so proactive and organized and everything. It made it so easy when both of them passed that I totally get that this is necessary.
Right. And there might be a time too that when you sit down with your financial planner, that wherever you are income wise, you might not be able to do all the steps in this moment. So don't get frustrated and think, oh my gosh, this is going to be bad because I can't give, and get stressed out about I can only give this much money. Well, how much towards this? There's always a way, and you have to trust that you're going to be taken care of one way or the other.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. So, Paige, we are coming to the end of our segment. Is there anything else that you want to leave?
So I guess what I just want to leave with is what I've been saying is, yes, this might be fearful, and you can still be fearful, but walk through the fear while you're learning about everything. Know that, trust your knowing. If a financial planner you're sitting down with doesn't feel right, trust that. Know that you might not be able to figure it all out today or tomorrow, but it's a start, it's a beginning. And remember, this is for you. And if you're connected or in a relationship, whatever you're doing for you will always flood out and bleed out to the other person. So think about that too. So we're here today to say, step into it. It's okay. And remind yourself, each day, ask yourself, do I have everything that I need in this moment today?
That's great advice, Paige. On that, we'll close, and we'll see you soon on another episode of Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life.
Bye.
Bye, Silka.
Thanks so much for joining us today, and I hope you found this information helpful. If you haven't already done so, please just take 1 second and subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. And for more information on living your life to the fullest after 50, please visit our website, secondact.tv. See you soon.